It is recording. All right. Well, hey guys, I have Daniel and Robbie with Shopanova here with me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Avery Lynch. I am the Client Success Director, making sure that guys like these guys enjoy their time with us and care for them well, which is a fun thing to get to do in an intimate setting, working with people's finances. But today, I wanted you guys to get the chance to hear from someone who, one, are just good people. So anytime watching a video with these guys, especially their ads, where they're attempting to play golf, is really fun. But two, people whom I think have grown very quickly, especially amongst a, kind of this weird pandemic where the online business space is doing really well, juxtaposed with what's going on in the brick and mortar space. But they're already in an island, being in Alaska, so they already probably feel a bit isolated, as now we're all getting to experience. I just wanted you guys to get the chance to hear their experience working with us. We think of ourselves as CFOs, for those of you who know us and are getting to know us. And so it's more than just bookkeeping. It's more than just accounting. It's more than just taxes. It's really coming alongside business owners, helping them understand how to optimize what they're doing now to maximize profitability, and then scale this thing sustainably to wherever it is that they want to go. So guys, thank you for showing up. I want this to be we've already talked about this. I want this to be so non-internet marketing and just a conversation. So I'm excited to see where this goes, because I did not prepare questions, as I probably should have. I do have a White Claw that I'm going to be drinking on the side as we're listening to them.
But you can't trust a CFO that doesn't drink.
Yeah, there you go. Well, good thing I'm not a CFO. But it would, to start things off, can you tell us what you guys do, and where you guys are at, where you guys were at when you guys came into working with us, and where we're at now?
Yeah, man. So before working with you guys, I was driving an old crappy Toyota Corolla, and I was able to just buy my first Lambo yesterday.
Dude, you made it.
I was at 2 internet marketing.
No, dude. So that's not true, by the way. So
he still drives a Corolla.
We're an e-commerce growth agency. We provide done-for-you e-commerce marketing services, specifically in the realm of Facebook ads. We help e-commerce stores grow. But you and I met at a conference, and right away I just felt like there was just a really good connection there. I just felt like you were really authentic, easy to talk to, kindred spirits in that way, where, we are for whatever reason, we're in a world where there's a lot of unauthenticity, and it's just annoying, dude. It's not fun to be around. And, sometimes you feel a pressure to, in order to be successful in an online industry, you feel a pressure to to perform in a certain way, the way that you see everybody else doing. But that was one thing that immediately stuck out to me about, just our conversations with you, and even hearing Adam speak a little bit at that conference. I think in the back of my head, there was a huge urge to know and understand our finances and have financial clarity and goals and stuff. There's an urge to have that solidified inside me, but I didn't know what it looked like. So every time Adam would speak, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like that's what we've been needing. That's what I'm like, can't wrap my head around. So before you guys, we work with a ton of people here locally. We hired and fired a few accountants that all said they were going to help us figure out profitability and strategize with us with our taxes and help us grow and make good decisions. But it just never amounted to doing that. And even on top of that, never even fulfilled the basic accounting needs, or we're always dropping the ball with our payroll and stuff like that. Totally. So
a few of those people were virtual, even where we were working over the internet, over email, and they just had no systems in place. The ball was getting dropped. There was no Zoom calls, hardly any phone calls, but we just didn't yeah, we're kind of in the dark when it came to our finances.
Mm-hmm.
We knew we were making some money, a little bit profitable, but we had no idea how much do we need to spend on labor? How much do we need to spend on ads this next month?
Can
And
you,
like,
can you, because
what to allocate where?
totally. And can you talk about what you guys were thinking about your finances when you guys first came in? Because I don't know if you guys know this. I have a feeling that you guys know this, but where you guys were when we started working together is actually where I think most done for you agencies kind of make a decision and say, are we going to do this thing? Like, are we going to load up a team and move this thing forward? Because it's really going to have to grow, with fulfillment being the major driver in a done for you service agency. And so I find this, because we see everything, so many done for you agencies kind of cap out right where you guys were. And so can you share how you guys were thinking specifically about finances right then at that beginning point?
Dude, so right at the beginning of that relationship we were in.
I think you guys might be muted. Oh, wait, no, that's Siri. Sorry, that was me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So right when we started working, we had just spent an entire year investing in growth that wasn't putting money back into the business. We felt we were trying to do too many things at once, and we just weren't turning a profit. Our revenue was growing, and each month we thought there was going to be a little bit more money left over, but it just never showed up. And we're trying to figure that out. So when we came aboard and started working with you, we actually cut off. We were running like this educational program, this e-commerce ads academy. And that was, we're investing a lot of our profits into that, trying to continue to grow. But we cut that off, and then we just said, we put our priority on, dude, I don't care like how much money or how much revenue we're bringing in. We just need to be profitable. And then if we can get profitable, then we can look at growing again. So that was priority number one. And so first of all, you guys came out and you built all these really comprehensive sheets for us where we could actually see, what was going on. And the time
I thought you were about to
differences.
insult them. I thought you were going to be like, and then you came in and it was a mad science experiment and I had no idea what the F was going on.
No, dude. It's so nice. Like, one thing that's really hard for us is it seems like in our space with payment processors and transfers from Stripe to our bank account, there's always a timing issue, and how to figure out where the cash is at any given time it's a full-time job, dude. And we didn't have the time or the skills or the tools to be able to figure out where that was. So I would say the first thing that was super helpful for us is just getting clarity of where we are, a realistic picture, which at the time we were hitting record months in terms of revenue. I think we had our biggest month in January. It was $187,000 in 1 month, but dude, it was a 0% profit margin. And we're like,
something's not right.
That's not good.
I don't know if it was 0%. We maybe were at like 8% or something, but we knew it wasn't scalable, the way we were paying our team, how much we're investing in marketing. And so we just had to clean everything up. And we knew we wanted to get to like 20 to 30% at least, but we're like, I feel like our system's broken to where we're never going to get there. And we're just going to not be profitable if Robbie and I aren't going to be paying ourselves the way we want to, because we've kind of been in that cycle for like a year. And so it felt good, because I almost feel like we didn't stress the importance of the financial aspect as we were growing our business. Like I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs don't, because they don't understand it. They're like, sales, marketing, delivery, let's go.
And to your point, like, in a lot of ways, this is a very natural progression that you guys came to, right? Like, we're growing a business, we get to these new levels, and we're like, oh my gosh, Stripe just said I did $187,000 in sales last month, but there is like $10,000 more in my bank account at the end of the month.
Exactly.
The previous month. And I think it's very natural to value finances in that way, or come to this place and then go, I need to focus on this. But what is interesting about y'all's story that I would like to shed some light on as to why we should like not do that. I don't know why I put my hands up, but let's just not do that. Is when we yeah. When we got there, we had to rework some things in order to move forward. So can you talk about that piece a little? Because I think something since I take all the consults and Adam and the team here obviously speak with tons of business owners every day, week, and month. I think a lot of people don't realize, especially in Done For You, that we have to figure out how to incentivize high performance, right? We want people, because the differentiating factor there's people doing what you guys do, and the differentiating factor for you guys will be results. And in Done For You, we're going to need to incentivize high performance. But at the same time, there's a duality where we also need to protect profitability. And so when you guys came in, we had to do some reworking because we didn't, and this, again, very natural, very normal. This is what tends to happen, but we weren't thinking about this at like 100, 120, 150. It was like right around 200 where we were like, okay, in order to move forward, this entire picture in a way, and I might be being a little bit dramatic. Of course, it's not the entire picture, but this picture in a way needs to change and to be optimized in order for me to go past this. And that is when I was saying earlier, is like that exact moment. Why I think this is so natural is because that's where most Done For You agencies stop, is right where you guys were. Because like, to answer this problem, I don't like, do I hire a bookkeeper? Like, what's a bookkeeper? A bookkeeper's just going to count my money. So do I need to hire a good tax guy? Because if I'm just left with 8% profit at the end of the month, like, hopefully I'm able to extract that out of my business, or what do I do? So I think that was a bit elongated, longer than it needed to be, but can you talk about that reworking process in order to move forward and what that was like for you guys? Thinking about that as, hey, I probably should have thought about this sooner.
Yeah, so for us, there was always a willingness to rework what was broken, but we had zero clarity on where we needed to be. So when we actually got a model for a perfect P&L according to, the services we provide and, what's to be expected in a Done For You service, once we had targets, in my mind, it was just a process of making these micro decisions towards getting what's actually happening in our business to move toward that target. And then there was also this whole like consulting piece where you or Adam or whoever we were working with in your guys' team was saying like, hey, this is a little bit high. Like, what do we need to do to change this? Or why is it so high? And then just having clarity and targets towards what we were wanting to spend on advertising, what we were wanting to spend in labor, and everything downstream of that, is what really gave us the ability to make the changes that need to happen. Because we were always like that. That's probably one of our biggest strengths and weaknesses is like before this, we were willing to do whatever. We were trying everything and like investing a ton in growth and like breaking and reworking systems all the time, but without the target, it was just super inefficient, and it left us not being very profitable at all. So when we finally had a target and an accurate picture of where we were at any given time, it made this really complex idea of becoming profitable a lot more tangible and achievable. When it's like, hey, this is where we need to be. Here's some ideas for things we can do, and this seems like a red flag. What's going on here? And I love too, you guys have never. We have certain values in our business. We're very interested in being generous with the people that we get to work with. And so there's been times where we are incentivizing high performance, and we are incentivizing this person and honoring them for the longevity they've had with the company that don't necessarily fit in a perfect model of what this business should look like. But it wasn't like you guys were frustrated with us about that, and you're giving us clarity and a realistic view of where it should be, and cautioning us on certain things, but you're not like trying to push a system on us, which I really appreciate as well.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, because it's when people see the perfect P&L training, they're like, okay, I just go do X. Like, I've got it now. I just go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And what we, you know, a CFO doesn't just sit in front of, and like we've done with you guys, we don't just sit and look at your numbers and then say, okay, you need to do X. But you need someone in your business who can be your business or reflect that back to you and say, okay, if we're going to make that decision, what effect is that going to have in my business? And I think, especially when we have partners, that's really important, because when there's two people who are getting money out of the business, we want to be able to have a third party who can then come in and help us understand the perspective of the business that I think you guys have really appreciated. But furthermore, I think it can't be a box. We can't come alongside business owners and force them into a box, because every business owner has different goals or desires that they want to do in their business. So it has to be custom. You can't just hire an accountant or Joe Schmo and say, hey, do you want to scale a business? Let's do this. Here's how you do it. You fire everybody and you hire VAs in the Philippines and you keep costs here. And then we're just going to take this thing to the moon. And there you go. There's your CFO advice, which is which is terrible.
Can I say another thing I appreciate
Yeah.
about you guys? So I also appreciate that if there's an area where you guys don't know or don't have the best answer, you're not just going to like make something up. For some people, if they're providing a service, they feel like they need to have an answer for everything. But you guys, you know, much like us, we're very specialized in what we do, and that's very good for a specific type of person, but maybe not as valuable to another type of person. So we work with e-commerce stores, and one thing I've been like, I was always trying to get an answer for you guys is like, this is awesome. Like this P&L, like these targets, and the way we're looking at things, like this is so helpful for us. Like, can we provide that same clarity to our clients just as like a value add for these e-commerce stores? And then you guys are like, nope, we don't do cost of goods sold. We work with service-based businesses, and that's a whole nother can of worms, which I actually appreciate. It pissed me off, and I appreciated it at the same time, because it didn't put me in a position where I was just like regurgitating made up information or something. And so I really just like the honesty there as well, and that we can trust you guys to shoot us straight and stuff like that.
Well, that's thanks for saying that. And that's one thing we found in giving people advice when it's the lens of your finances are being used for that advice, is that the advice we give you is going to have a direct reflection on the thing that we're doing on the back end, which is your finances. And so, you know, if we're giving you crap advice, and I know this is kind of specific to who we work with, right? But even if we were to give you advice like, hey, fire all your clients or fire all your employees and hire everyone in the Philippines, like, you get crap advice, we're staring at a crappier picture. and so we're held accountable to a process in a way. But I really like that you said that, because it's, for us, really important. We have NDAs with all of our clients. These guys graciously would open the conversation to share their numbers, which is awesome. And working in this space where, I mean, we were saying this at the beginning, you're staring at a computer and working with teams of people, and hundreds of thousands of dollars is moving around. And so you need the ability to be able to trust folks. And the fact that we've gotten to work with so many people who are in this exact same space. And for us, and I think you guys as well, to come to that realization, we're getting to know some really good people. And so as we get to know those good people, it's like, well, hey, you should talk to X. We're not the expert here. And that's been, I think, a fun piece for me, is that I'm not sitting on this kind of selfish. I'm saying this selfishly. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I'm not also talking to a plumber. I'm not also talking to some home construction guy. I'm talking to a bunch of guys who are in the online business space who are doing some really cool things. And it's fun to get to introduce those folks and say, hey, this person does really well. And we can say that too with kind of a competitive advantage, because when we say that, we're also like, no, we know they're doing well. Like, Trust me, they're doing well. We could see it on the other end. They're doing really well.
That's awesome.
To come back around to where this was headed. So January, and that's when we established our relationship. We met in November, helped you guys clean up some stuff, gave some advice, but we really started and came alongside you guys as a CFO in January. And so we've talked about working this picture out and getting goals. But I think I want you guys to share where you're at now and how we got there. But something you said, Robbie, is, it was really good to give me targets, right? And I think that can sound airy in a way. Like, what are these guys actually doing? They're giving me targets. Like, is targets going to really make that big of a difference? And we can kind of laugh about that because for it does feel like some airy language. Like you're not buying a marketing machine that's going to churn out leads that you can see and are going to give you their credit card the next day, right? But we're giving you targets that, and I want you guys to share this because I don't want to steal your thunder, but can have a pretty freaking big effect. I'm not here to claim credit for what you guys have done. You guys have worked your butts off, but under that framework can have a really big effect on a business. So can you guys share about where we're at now, and then we can kind of walk through the process of getting there?
Yeah, I mean, so we said, like, when we came on board, I think we were around 150 to 180 range, somewhere in there in overall revenue. Over the last 10 months, we've scaled up to almost $600,000 in overall revenue. But what's crazy is, like, a couple months ago, our profit was over $200,000. I think we're at like 30-40%. And so our profit now is like higher than our revenue was 10 months ago. Yeah. And if we would have just stayed on the same trajectory we were on of like 8 to 10%, we would have had this massive month and like $60,000 in profitability. Yep. As opposed to like over 200,000.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
If that, you're right. Yeah. If we would have even got there.
But not to say you want to be able to get there, but like that profit is the tool we're using to get there, right? And so 100%. We would have had to dip. We would have, and especially with timing playing a huge element, with Stripe holding our funds and then them coming out 2 or 3 days later, it's like we need that cash to be able to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it feels like we just have a really solid, stable business that we could have zero revenue for a few months and we'd be completely fine. We've never been in a position like that before. So just having that solid financial base now, knowing we can test new things, we can try things out. We know we have enough clients on retainers to actually cover all of our expenses. So we can just make a lot more decisions from a place of financial clarity. That just like feels really nice, where it's not like risking everything every single month, which is what we were doing before pretty much.
One thing that's cool too, you guys helped us develop, a target for how much cash we want to have in the business, kind of some rainy day money. And so, not only in the last 10 months have we more than like doubled our business and become wildly profitable and are, for lack of a better word, hitting like those P&L targets. We've also built up a cash stack. We've hit our goals in terms of how much cash we want to have in the business. And for me and Daniel, we've been grinding on this for, going on 5 years. Yeah, I think. And then there's been times where we can't pay ourselves at all, and we've had some rough patches, and that comes with the territory of owning and running a business. But, recently we've been able to pay ourselves really well. And now that we've hit kind of these cash stack goals, when you go and you turn $200,000 of profit in 1 month, if, it gives you and we feel stable, we have like a cash stack, like it gives us the opportunity to be generous with ourselves and pull some money out of the business for us, which for me is like the really rewarding part of being a business owner. And so above and beyond our salaries, we both took like an extra, $50,000 last month.
Yeah.
And we're able to pay off some personal debt and do some crazy, really exciting, meaningful things for our families.
Yeah. Down payment on a Lambo.
No longer driving Lola the Corolla around.
Hey, listen, I want a one-liner moment real quick.
Okay.
just for my own ego. So you made a point earlier where people have seen the perfect P&L video and they're like, oh, now I can do it.
Yeah.
I just want to say to that person that thinks that it's like reading a marriage book and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've nailed marriage. But really, is it that easy? Can you just read the person's book, or would you rather sit down with the person that wrote them and ask them personal questions about how it relates to your marriage or your business for you guys? And I do view our relationship as a marriage, Avery, just so you know. But we saw the video and we did try to implement some stuff, but it was nowhere the same as talking to you guys, getting consultation on all these areas. It provided way more value and way more clarity than we ever expected.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, it's dynamic. You're reading a marriage book. We joke, I've been married for like a year and a half now, and everyone's like, well, how was the first year of marriage? And I'm like, well, I'm writing a book because I'm a pro now. But it's too dynamic. Your business is too dynamic. And then to throw like, that becomes even more so true when you put all of this going on in your business in the backdrop of COVID. Because like to say it's dynamic, it's like, well, yeah, it's dynamic growing a business and things change and stuff comes up. But then a global pandemic comes out of freaking nowhere. And, yes, did it benefit the online space? Of course. But these things come up. It's not just, hey, what is the spreadsheet saying? Hey, this is what you have to hit. Here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Hands are washed off. We're done. It's far too dynamic for that to be the case.
Yeah, and what research, we just thought like all online businesses were crushing it, but we're looking at other agencies kind of in our market.
Like top 30 competitors. This is actually from a friend of ours who's very
showed
similar agency, and he did research on like top most similar 30 competitors, but out of that, what was it, like only?
Dude, there was only a couple of them that actually grew a little bit. A lot of them flatlined, dropped a little bit, and we're starting to tick back up. So it's not across the board that this is happening, but I think a lot of it was having that clarity going into it, and even Adam asking questions like, all right, guys, how's lead volume right now? How was sales? Are we going to need to adjust anything?
Yep.
Or like keep spending money, let's stay in front of people and keep getting leads and making sales. Just from a financial perspective, that helped us out a lot. And I know you're saying across the board for your clients, it was like that, but that's not the case for across internet businesses by any means.
I feel like we vaguely communicated this in one way or another, but I really want to drill it home, because for me, being a business owner, like my biggest interest in our business is taking care of the people. I never want to be like this corporation that's squeezing people for profits and anything like that. And I think there might be, and maybe it's just me, but there might be this idea, this misconception that when you get that level of clarity on your finance, you're just going to be pressured into making decisions towards paying people less so you can keep more profit. And you're going to be in this situation where it's all about the money. And that's truly has not been the case. And I just really appreciate that you guys also share a value for what we care about. And I feel like that's when I said at the beginning, kindred spirits, like I feel like you guys really care about people. And what's cool is like when we have proper disciplines in place, we're in a position where we can be way more generous than we were before, because we are profitable. And we rolled out something called Bonusly. We have this cool reward program in our company. It's just really fun. Just fun ways to incentivize people.
Totally.
We wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have profit in the business.
Okay, this is my last question, because this has actually gone longer than I anticipated, which has been really fun though, because it has been a conversation. It doesn't feel like we're doing some ad right now, other than your Lambo that you guys are about to buy. But if you could share y'all's feedback on working with us from the perspective of, yes, we're going to talk about the finances, but I get asked a lot from people who are trying to make the decision of like, well, it's great that you're going to show me how these finances work, but we're doing it under a framework of understanding how your business should operate, because we're just doing this with other done for you agencies, done with you models, course creators, anyone in the online space. And so if you could share some of your honest feedback, and if you don't have feedback that aligns with this, say it. But around, hey, yes, we're going to show you how the finances look and help you make these look better and maximize profitability and scale this thing. But we also know what a team structure should look like. We're getting to see inside other people's businesses, and we have NDAs with all of our clients. We're going to share their finances, but we get how the structures operate, some really good KPIs that you should be looking at with your team, and for that feedback to come alongside how are the finances, let's get them to look better.
Hey, I think for us to fully accurately answer this question, I would like you to take your shirt off.
I'm not taking my shirt. I drink a White Claw. I'm already edgy as I am.
He started to. I was like, oh yeah, it's coming.
I think we're probably some of the best people to answer this question, because running a digital marketing agency in Alaska, dude, we feel like no one understands us. We feel so freaking alone just up here.
You guys are fishers before this, weren't you?
Uh-huh.
We have 3 stoplights in our 5,000 people town. You know what I mean? People are like, hey, trying to judge how big our town's. Like, do you have a Walmart? I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we do feel very isolated, and when we were working with other people, we felt like nobody had an understanding of what we were doing and how that should look, and so how could they ever give us advice? And that was one way that we just built so much trust with each other right off the bat, was you guys can speak specifically not only to how somebody in this done for you service sector should operate, but even giving us clarity around how certain roles should be compensated. And, this idea of, success and service under your production model. And
Yep.
It was such a breath of fresh air that there was somebody who actually understood what we were doing and had more clarity on the financial side than we did. Because for us, it was so frustrating to bring somebody on board to help us get our finances in order and then feel like we have to teach them. And we're always correcting them and setting them straight, and they want us to make a decision, and we're in a position where we have to say, no, that won't work, and here's why. And we're actually educating them, and that truly wasn't the case with you.
I can't imagine.
There's been times with Adam where we'll spend 15 minutes on our finances because it's all dialed in, things are looking good. Then the rest of the 45 minutes of the meeting is business consultation. Basically, where it's wait, I don't know if you want to advertise that, but it's outside the finance, helping us to build our team, compensation models, and everything. And even the way we're restructuring all production right now into different pods, so it's more scalable, came from what Adam was sharing with us.
Yeah. Well, guys, seriously, I feel I wish I could hug you. I wish I could. We weren't on camera and recording. I'd totally take off my shirt with how grateful I am that you guys would do this. No, seriously, guys, it's been really fun working with you guys. It's hard I don't have children. Again, I don't know why I keep bringing up children. You guys have children. But you can't tell your children you have a favorite child. So, we have lots of children, so to speak, to use a weird metaphor. But if you could choose favorites,
Are you
know what you're hinting at?
You're just trying to get us to call you daddy.
Yeah, you want to call you daddy? We'll do
it. No, seriously, thanks, guys, and it's been really fun.
All right,
thanks, Avery.
Thanks.
I'm gonna end the recording here.